Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to take a look at stat booster placement. I know that I've spent a lot of time in my other videos talking about on a per town level how stat boosters should be laid out, especially when you look at the neutral areas. This video is going to look more at a high level overall on the map. How do you want to lay out your stat boosters? And again, it takes into account reading different strategy and expected pathing of the different players. So I'll start off just by put a large grassy central area here, and we'll just start closing it off. And then why don't I surround it with some dirt? And then why don't I put some swamp? A lot of swamp. In fact, how about instead of just constant swamp, we do something like this, and we just rough in the rest. No, not like that. Too much swamp is honestly not the most fun thing in the world. As far as lava, how about something like this? And then why don't I snow cap top, get some dirt going. And how about right in the middle of the whole thing, we do another layer of snow. Just to mix it up. Okay, so basically in a map like this, like let's say I want player 1 to be, how about a rampart in this area? I want player 2 to be, how about another early game? Let's make him a conflux down here. Player 3, let's give me something mid game. So how about a rampart? Sorry, not a rampart. A inferno up in here. And then for player 4, I want something late game. So how about a necro down in this corner here? Okay, so if I were to kind of quickly cover the main borders, how am I going to do this? I guess I should have thought about this before putting just a giant ring of snow through the middle of my map. Oh well. Makes it interesting. I'll do something like that. Kind of closes off the necro player, but oh well. And then how about you? I'll make the snow the opening over there, and then we'll do something like this. So I've got area 1, area 2, area 3, area 4. I've got an extremely high neutral area, high conflict neutral area. Probably have pathing problems right in there. Not really, just don't want to get caught in there. Let's delete you away so we can get up there. Let's delete you away so we can get into the middle. Let's delete you. let's delete you. Come on. You. Okay. So just looking at my pathing options here. So from player 1's perspective, he can run up here and into this area. He can run through here into the middle. He can run here and then has a choice with either down in here or across and in here. And then once he's in these areas, he can now choose whether to swarm over there or head on down here. So he can spread out pretty effectively in each of the 4 directions. Player 2 only has one option. He has to go straight in here. From here, he can either swarm you, swarm you, swarm you. So player 2 is actually forced to rush in this case, and I might... I'm going to fix that, actually. I'm going to add some lava down here. And then I'm going to brush you off, and you off, you off. And I'm not even going to let this be an option here. So now you can either run that way or you can run this way. From there you can pincer the necro, or you can head on up through here or through here. So player 2 has a pretty good advantage, and based on placement alone, this necropolis is going to need some help because he can get rushed pretty quickly by the early game towns. Player 3, Necropolis, he can run around in here and then get a whole bunch of skeletons. He can come through here, up and around, or he can go out into the main area. I'm giving him a lot of neutral player versus environment interaction. This guarantees that he will have considerable amount of skeletons once he finally reaches the other towns, and I might even garrison this off with something pretty heavy that allows him to successfully defend his area from frontal attacks. And then finally the Inferno, he can run out and over or out and down, or he can come around here out and down. So he is much more limited, however he's got a considerable amount of neutral area to play with. So you can see that I gave my early towns direct access right away to the middle and to the other players. That's not very good. Either from frontal attacks or from back, behind them. Allows you to go straight there, straight there. Am I forgetting or am I missing any paths in here? So these look like my main expected paths that I expect people to run. So with that in mind, I'm going to place stat boosters along these paths that benefit who I expect to run across them. So I'm gonna undo the brush here, and I know that back here, this area, the swamp, the rough, and the lava, this is more of a leveling up kind of neutral area, potentially high conflict, but probably low conflict. So you could even start to drop in things like a library. Let me get rid of that. A library, an arena. Give the player plenty of choice over what specifically they're going to have in this boosting area. Also, I've got a necropolis that is going to rely on raising skeletons, and it's going to rely on the Black Knights, the Vampire Lords, and probably some magic. Whereas up here I've got a rampart that relies purely on attack and speed. So I'm going to want to encourage and reward both of them with some attack. This will make Dread Knights and Grand Elves hit that much harder. And I'll also reward Necropolis for coming back here with some extra spell power and knowledge. So it's just based on who I'm expecting back here. Conflux is going to be purely magic, so I'm putting the magic boosters closer to where I expect him to come into play. And then the physical attack is where I'm expecting the Necropolis and the Rampart to play. So I'm expecting them to run past those stat boosters. You throw in enough choice and you've got pretty strong neutral area. Now you can choose your magic spells. Now you can choose to level up your spell power, and now you can boost everything with the library. So definitely consider who you're expecting in the general area for stat boosting. If it's one of those maps where anything could go and you're not really sure like who could be playing because it's all random towns, then your stat boosting doesn't really matter as far as what types, but you do have to consider the routes that people are going to run to get to each other, and then you place your stat boosters kind of along those routes, or you can just kind of tuck them off to the side in low conflict areas. I prefer to put lots of stat boosters in neutral areas that kind of guide you back towards the other players. So I probably wouldn't put that many stat boosters in here, especially with how high conflict this area is, with both blue, green, and red coming in here. This place would just be loaded up with magic wells and luck and morale boosts and traveling boosts and all kinds of stuff to make sure that the different players are being affected correctly. I think that's all I wanted to say for stat boosters. Make sure you use all of them. To be honest, it allows for a much stronger heroes overall. So if you want low stat heroes and you want low stat creatures, then I guess starve the creatures a little bit. However, I feel like having more stats is kind of a benefit because it allows for a faster paced game, because more people are exploring, they're getting rewarded better, they can survive if they get ambushed easier. I feel like with stat boosting, more is better. So that concludes this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, or subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.